it was just fun in games for us. 2005, we were formally incorporated, and the rest is history. Today, we are probably world's number one when it comes down to gaming mice. We've not just designed the world's first gaming mouse, we've kind of created an entire industry. We make gaming keyboards, gaming headphones used by probably most of the top professional gamers worldwide, and now into gaming laptops and tablets.
It's quite an advancement from mice to laptops.
Well, I think the vision of the company has always been at the start, which would be to design products for gamers. Sure. So it was a natural progression for us to move from peripherals to laptops and to software at this point of time.
So how do you exactly prototype your products? Like, is there any special process that your team uses in constructing or making your prototypes?
Well, there's a lot of hands-on work. So all of our designs are done in-house. So contrary to most other companies that outsource most of the design work to Chinese or Taiwanese companies, at Razer, we've got scientists, we've got designers, we've got engineers, all in-house. And we've got our own 3D printers, our own CNC machines, and we do a lot of the CNC prototypes and stuff like that on the fly. So when somebody has a great idea, oftentimes, the lab is open to them. They can go and prototype any of the stuff. The prototyping or the concept phase can be a multitude of different prototypes and concepts. Once these prototypes are done, they are then sent to professional gamers, they're sent to beta testers, who will then provide their feedback. And it's that constant iterative process that goes over and over and over again before we come up with a nailed down concept. And usually before we come up with a product, we've got 3 or 4 of these concepts that are fleshed out. And before we even reach these 3 or 4 concepts, there may have been hundreds of models that have been used and discarded and tested to get to those points. And from then, there's another pretty arduous process of iterative kind of improvement over and over again. So at Razer, it tends to be this constant grind of perfecting products.
As a follow-up question, is there, because you mentioned how you prototype nowadays, right? But is there any major difference based on how you used to do prototyping back then during the early days of Razer compared to now?
Well, a lot of the stuff is in-house right now, in the sense that we've got a lot more resources to have our own 3D printers. We've got a lot more resources to have professional CAD guys and ID guys just sitting with us, and everybody who's under a single design center. So I think that's the biggest difference. The fact that we've got a lot more resources today than we've ever had before.
So from R&D to production.
Sure.
So how do you say when a product is exactly ready?
I think we do, as I've mentioned, a lot of prototyping and validation by the pro gamers, but oftentimes, right till the last moment, anyone in the design team has the right to stop the process. So, for example, if any member of the design team is unhappy with the smallest issue with a product, he or she has the right to say, look, I think we should stop the launch, which means that it's a very, very strenuous process for us to go through. And only until the point of launch, we've had products that have been pulled a day before launch, right? Where we've got thousands of inventory already prepared and stuff like that. If there's the smallest thing, we've had products pulled just because, the color scheme was off by a few shades. Nobody would have noticed, but as long as we would notice it, we would pull it. So I think it's, when we say it's only launched when it's ready, that's something about Razer.
According to your company profile, and correct me if I'm wrong, you yourself are directly involved with the company's design and development.
Yes.
Kind of rare for most CEOs. So, amongst all of the Razer products that you've overseen, what would you consider to be your best design? Or at least your most favored design?
I think favorite would be the Orochi. It's a mobile gaming mouse, and it's one of those products where I feel really, I'm really pleased with how the product turned out. The blade is also another product I'm really proud of. And these are probably 2 of my favorites at this point of time. But that much said, we spend so much time on every single one of our designs that it becomes like a little bit of a part of us. really.
All right, so let's talk about your personal. It's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Microsoft became popular with some of their out-of-the-box job interview questions that spread over the internet, right? So how do you exactly pick out your designers and your engineers? I mean, do you have a special screening process for this? Like for example, if I would.
One of the first questions we always ask is whether he's a gamer.
Okay.
I think that's really important for us, and we take this for gamers by gamers thing really, really seriously. And we ask further questions because there are a lot of frauds out there that pretend to be gamers when they try to apply to Razer. We will ask specific questions about what games they play, how much they've played, and stuff like that. So I think that's probably what's most different for us, and we take it very, very seriously. That gaming has to be, at least appreciated by whoever who joins Razer.
All right, let's get down to more personal things. So, most asked question, and I'm pretty sure everybody's asked you this today. Are you going to come out with a toaster?
Oh, God!
Please one today.
I refuse to answer the question.
I gotta ask that question.
No, I refuse to answer the question. I plead jet lag.
I'm pretty sure.
When they hit a million goddamn likes, I'll make a goddamn toaster.
All right, so this is a curiosity question. So with the
Okay.
smartphone scene getting more attention, because
Sure.
people are migrating over from consoles more towards mobile devices for gaming. Do you guys plan on developing peripherals for that?
So the one thing about Razer is that given that the entire industry that we created watches every single move that we do, we don't talk about future products.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, I understand.
It's really tiring. And one of the jokes that we always say is that, the first people always lining up for products are our competitors, just so that they can copy it within a short space of time. So, given that I'm pretty sure that, hey guys, you're listening to this, no, we don't talk about future products.
I understand. That's okay. So, now this next question is pretty close to heart since I'm a game developer myself.
Oh, okay.
Razer is very supportive when it comes to esports athletes and some musicians, right?
Sure.
So, have you guys ever considered supporting indie game developers and are probably machinima directors as well?
We do actually. In fact, today, most of the major studios, without talking about indies first, most of the major studios, the developers actually already use our products for development. So, for example, some of them have been very public about using our products for development. They've tweeted about it and stuff like that. So, the Razer Blade Pro laptop is used by most of the major heads of the studios. Most of the studios also use our peripherals. So, you realize after a while that a lot of our products tend to work really well with a lot of games because the developers themselves are using Razer. Now, more so than that, we've recently launched a indie development program. We've got the Razer Blade Pro today that sells at about $2,500, maybe about $2,500 in the US. For developers, we provide it at $999. It's way below our cost, but with of course several caveats, right? Either they've been successful Kickstarter or something like that. But the bar is set pretty low, or they've launched a successful title before. That's one of the things that we do, and we actually fund those because it's way below our cost. It's $999 for a full-fledged Core i7 GTX 765M, 17-inch. It's a beautiful laptop. So that's stuff that we do. Some of our software is provided for free to game developers if they want to use it, like Surround, our comms SDK. So instantly, game developers can say, I want to have 7.1 audio in my game, or they can have VoIP. Instead of having to pay for all the servers and get the whole thing set up, we provide that for free, right from the get-go. On top of that, we've also helped indies do a lot of marketing onto our social media channels. So for example, if they want to get word out to 3.5 million gamers overnight, we can just post it up on our Facebook. And we've been able to fund some very successful Kickstarters by pushing it to our community.
Could you name some?
Well, of course. So, for example, we featured titles like Brian Fargo's Wasteland, his Torment sequel, Richard Garriott's Shroud. We have featured things like Clang, and they've done phenomenally well at Kickstarter. In part, also, well, the game has been incredible. The games that they've created have been incredible, but in part also that we feature it prominently at our social media channels. Because overnight, boom, 3.5 million core gamers get to see the product, and those have done really well. So I think net, the way we see it is we want to be able to focus on helping game developers make better games and get their games to be featured in as many in front of as many eyeballs as possible.
So, according to this, you've got a partnership with Alodia and Ashley Gusing Fao. So, what can you say about that?
Well, I think we've had a great partnership with her and her sister, and we think they're really legit gamers, and it's great. I'm looking forward to meeting her tomorrow. I haven't had the pleasure or the chance to, so I'm looking forward to that. But to date, I think she represents a lot of things that Razer stands for also, and she's been a great partner. So we're looking forward to seeing how else we can ramp it up.
What's your thoughts so far about being here in the Philippines, regardless if it's just a couple of hours?
I think it's cool. I mean, one of the main reasons why I'm here myself, and I took like a day trip to, well, an entire day to fly over here, is because of the community. I see so many of the members of the Filipino gaming community tweeting me, posting on my Facebook page and stuff like that. I thought, I got to come down and see what this whole thing's about. So I'm looking forward to Pinoy Game Fest tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm excited about it, and I'm really looking forward to meeting more of the gamers on the ground. It's one of those things where I realize we've got a pretty large fan base in the Philippines, and it's a great time to kind of meet some of the gamers face to face.
Now, this is something that, I just heard about this recently, and it's pretty impressive. So I heard that Razer donated to the Red Cross for the Central Visayas earthquake. So
we haven't actually yet.
Not yet, but
yet.
You're planning to.
Yeah, so that's one of the things which I think the community was responsible for it. I wouldn't even claim credit for it. But, we got tweets about it and stuff like that. And what we wanted to do was originally we had this whole sales plan to sell apparel and stuff like that. But when we heard about the earthquake, we said, we very quickly, I think about 2 or 3 days ago, decided how much do we have for sale? We're going to take all of the apparel, whether it's t-shirts, caps and stuff like that, all the proceeds, 100%, will be donated to the Red Cross. So whatever we sell, we're hoping to raise at least $10,000 about 500,000 pesos. That's all going to go to the Philippines Red Cross for twofold. Number one, we want to do something, of course, given the extent of the damage and the tragedy. But I think the secondary reason is that we want to get the gamers involved with giving back to the community.
That's true. And
also be able to kind of bring gaming to the forefront to people who may not necessarily understand gamers, or who may stereotype gamers as a whole, that these are the guys that just do nothing and play games all day long. But that we find a responsibility as Razer to do that. We have the resources and the clout to do that, and it's best that we take a big step to doing it. So we think it's doing we do care, and that's something that we want to be able to kind of enunciate and bring across. So fingers crossed, we will be able to raise the funds that we want to do.
It's magnificent. I mean, that's not that's not something you hear every day.
But it's one of those decisions we can make really, really quickly. I think it's because Razer is not like a business for us. If it was like a business, we would be talking about how much will we lose, what kind of profits and stuff like that. But literally, we just said, okay, how much do we have to give, and then boom, we like to be able to involve the community all the time. That's something that has always been part of our DNA. I think it's not just charity we want to do, but we want to do something meaningful that is sustainable. So the next time around, if there's anything that the gamers need to come together, it's going to be like a rallying call, and we can do it over and over again. We've done it for Extra Life before. We've done it for Child's Play charity. Now we're doing it for the Visayas earthquake relief initiative. We hope to be able to replicate this anytime, anywhere. The gamers will just get together and say, hey, we got to do something.
Like a revolution.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're just happy to be a part of it.
Right, so I guess that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Thank you, Min, for your time.
Thank you for your time.
I hope you enjoy the Philippines, and I hope you'll come back here again.
I'm looking forward to it.
Right.
Maybe the next time for a holiday.
And that's it for today for Critical Index and Reimaru Files. This is Shin.